Hello, everyone. Welcome to Concordia Consularis, the spiritual and business agency of peace. Bienvenidos and welcome to this pre-coronation innings at the Spiritual Court of Equity, where we are going to check in with humanity, the inhabitants of the UK and other countries that will be associated with this process and other esoteric groups. So hello, Harrison, welcome back to another innings.
Yeah, hello, Angela. Doing fantastic. I'm looking forward towards today's show.
Great.
And also assist humanity where they need to be assisted and move closer into making better decisions and choices for everyone.
Absolutely. So this is quite an interesting time we are at. You have many people resisting regal suppression in Britain, and not resisting, just tired of it over all these thousands of years of warring, suppression, financial taxation, all the rest of it, because really these guys are in it for their own means and the people are just fodder in that respect. So without further delay, I would like to open the spiritual courts of equity here at this time, including all inhabitants of Earth, all inhabitants of the UK, all inhabitants of the spiritual realms, all the soul groups, all the elders of all cultures. Mother Earth, the esoteric setups for the entrapment of people on Saturday, the 6th of May. And this could be through the form of mind control, cultural devolution. And we're just going to just bring forward anyone that is in this court or who has not yet arrived, anyone that is giving the apparent future King of England and Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland and other Crown territories. Oh, that's when I knew it would get juicy.
Yeah.
Now, there's the Court of Equity. Hate beyond hate.
Yeah, I was getting there was this bunch of people who are bringing flowers for this ceremony. It's like we are looking forward for this opportunity. And they have red roses with them. You can see it's like, I don't know, for us, it's when we have the sun out and a little bit of rain, and there's a lot of flowers growing around, bees are hovering around. This is the kind of scenario I'm seeing. And
very pleasant.
Yeah, and this is what this is the scene they have prepared so that they can go ahead and do this coronation. And then I'm also reminded there might be a lunar eclipse. I don't know if it's solar or lunar eclipse happening around the same time of coronation.
Exactly. All of it, all actions and happenings in the universe are being utilized. So in this moment, I'm going to invite all planetary entities and souls into this spiritual court of equity. All of them. And it will be divided into those that support spiritual dominion and those that oppose spiritual dominion on earth. Gosh, it's almost like a war could break out in this court of peace. Right?
Yeah.
Honestly, the fighting and the, discord is off the charts. So I'm just going to stir things up a bit, because we've got to move beyond this. So all those that oppose spiritual freedom of every living individual breathing being, we're just going to bring them to the light. Those in opposition, those that will perform the esoteric rituals. Unhappy bunch they are. They've been highlighted. Why am I laughing so much? Because we were made for these times of freedom. That's why. And your loyalty, your allegiance is to your soul, not to anything else. As soon as you place a loyalty or allegiance to something or someone, you are linked in time and acceptance. Now, I'm pretty sure, as I look at the UK here and all the spiritual groups, all the souls here, that there are actually very few who are in support of this. What is your read of the British people, Harrison?
What I'm getting is that they have created a system, and I'm getting this word government, and this government has been given an entity kind of a look what I'm lacking the word to describe it, but I would just say it's like an entity, like a person, but yeah, it's a vehicle. And then from this entity, it links with each and every individual, whether they know it or they don't, whether you want to give your allegiance to this entity or don't, they don't care, because whatever this entity says, you will do, you'll bow to whatever they say. So it doesn't matter where you are. And from there, this government, they will make now this kind of a entity kneel before the king or take allegiance to the king and whoever is involved with this entire system. And it's something that is replicated to the rest of the population on the planet. So whatever is happening with the people in UK, other people in other places of the planet aren't even aware, or they don't even care.
Yeah.
But they will be interlinked because of what their governments will do.
Exactly. So it's like they're bystanders on the edges. But also we have many British-based races that are spread out throughout the world, who probably have moved away for that very reason. So let's just deal with those that oppose free will and this entity. Now, I'm just going to issue a statement to all soul groups on Earth, but also in the UK, because this is their chance and opportunity to spiritually examine their loyalties and allegiances to an entity that doesn't care whether you're alive or dead, is only interested in your personal production of wealth and your life force and energy, into supporting that entity or vehicle that is being used by the coronation of an apparent future king who will lord it above you in terms of spirituality, but also in terms of governance of your finances and how much energy, money you're prepared to put into that industrialized vehicle. So what do the soul groups in the UK and other territories say? What's their opinion?
A huge chunk of them don't want what is happening
They
here.
don't. I heard yelling of the word treachery.
Yeah.
It's
also,
treachery, it is. It is.
Yeah, it's treachery. And also I'm seeing someone is coming with these documents. And it is like, no matter what the soul family are yelling or saying, it's like they have these documents that counteract that and they do whatever they want because they have something on a piece of paper that suggests that they are above you and they own you and they can do whatever they want, whether you like it or not.
Right. So this includes all papal bulls, doesn't it? This document is a papal bull. So let's just bring in the Jesuit type pope.
Somebody isn't happy.
Knock, knock, knock. Hello.
And it's
this
like
is the border residence.
Yeah, and it's like the magical class or the wizards that are involved with this ceremony, they have already become aware of what we are doing because they have been policing the entire environment to make sure that everything goes correctly.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go to the next level because it is required in this in the story of Earth. Who or what is controlling those wizards?
That's interesting. Yeah, they have this hierarchical kind of a structure where there's this head of the wizard who answers to another entity that doesn't want to be presented or present.
I know. Right, let's see how long it takes them to move into this space. Got a lot of anger going on around here in this peaceful spiritual court of equity. Just reminding them to conduct themselves with the highest vigor and valiance and kindness. Nothing like an infusion of qualities. Oh, and bring your moral compasses with you. And you, Pope, as well. Because Pope's not happy.
No.
So the papal bull and the document that is owned, that says that it owns all the souls. Let's have a look at that. Now, I'm going to zoom it in to this document using a different form of technology that predates them. And it's like a telescope. Just have a look through the telescope, Harrison. It is a psychic telescope.
I'm saying they had put or they have placed protective layers around these documents such that nobody, whatever you do, you'll never attack the original document, so you can't break it or try to change it. But
sounds like
really,
a
guys, Yeah.
So what do they say now as those layers are being removed?
Somebody is screaming because an ink is being dropped on top of those papers and it's renewing the writings.
Doesn't matter. They won't reform either. Because what we're doing with this process is what they don't want people to know is that we have very highly skilled groups and teams of people that can move this stuff in a second. It's nothing. So just reminding them of that.
I'm also
Right,
getting
being
contact.
decoded right now.
Yeah, as you're doing that, I'm getting contact from another team. I think they are presenting themselves as light and they have been looking at this situation and whatever is going to happen with the coronation.
Okay. I am familiar with them, by the way.
Yeah, and it's like they want to join the dance.
Great. You know what to do. So, how does Charlie Boy look? Is he all right?
He looks very well. Yeah, he looks very well dressed for the occasion.
He's been
very well
forward to
prepared.
this all his life.
Yeah, and he has been doing some rehearsals on how he's gonna, I don't know, hold the sword or, like a rehearsal for this entire situation. The military has been doing the same thing to make sure that everything goes as planned. But what is gonna happen is like it's another tune or another frequency is gonna be sung, such that they will think they're making contracts with for every single person, but the word that I'm getting is that there are these services where let's say it's an internet-based service and somebody wants to steal your data, but you have this protective layer within you that creates another pocket of gibberish data. And these people who are coming to steal your data think that's your actual data, and they dip their fingers into this gibberish kind of data, and they end up with screwed up information that they think represent you, which doesn't represent you in any way.
It's fiat. It's the maritime vehicle that they use for all the souls lost at sea. So we're just going to include that there. I can hear chanting going on. Not my king.
They don't want some of these noises to be heard anywhere in the internet.
No.
And their algorithms, the gatekeepers have been making sure those sounds are not heard, or those voices are not heard.
Yeah, that's okay. So I'm just going to dip in and just express the memory to the British people that look at the story with Jimmy Savile. It's all those lovely photos, because they were very good friends for most of his life. And he was the royal acquisitor of children for them. Oh, shame rising everywhere. Okay, so Jimmy Savile, all the rings, alarm bells are ringing in their spiritual security system. That's okay. Let's just ring them all, have everybody in, and provide this resolution in peace. Everybody knows it. And then we have the situation with Princess Di. The people loved her because she loved the people. We did an episode on this a while back. Oh, okay. So what percentage of the population doesn't want him as their king?
I'm getting it's averaging around 80%.
Yes, correct. That's what I was getting. So the 20% are the staunch stalwarts of royal supporting old schoolers, which is, you're going to get that. If they want to swear allegiance, but it doesn't mean that they spiritually override the 80%, no matter what result they give it. So the indoctrination, just bringing that into the levels of that into the spiritual court. I'm asking for its removal. And I'm also just going to remind the Pope here that it is happening. You are not protected. Yes, you carry, and this is the beauty of spiritual court, is that they have no control over what goes on in the spiritual court of equity, because these are the original spiritual courts of equity, and we had these abilities before the physical form even came into creation. So they really have no authority, because this is the ultimate sovereign court. Papal perceptions, please, Harrison.
It's another image that I'm being shown. I'm trying to get clarity on it because I can see a man who is wearing red and has this huge kind of a cape. I think it's the Pope sitting on a chair that looks to be golden in color. And it looks like he wields a lot of authority. And I can see subjects kneeling. There are a couple of guys in front of him, but the others who are seated. And those people who are near him, someone is kissing his ring. I think, yeah, this is a Pope, definitely. But it's not the current Pope. It's an image that this is what the office symbolizes to be. And what I'm being shown is that this is how they have manipulated the planet and how they own the souls. And via this kind of a domination and control, there's the same kind of mentality and projection they throw out. And before the ceremony takes over, there's a ritual they do to make sure that this kind of an energy is broadcasted to everybody.
They do.
And they do. And then the next thing, they are gonna use the digital boxes or the TVs, where each and every single station on the planet is gonna project whatever will be happening on this coronation as if it's the nicest thing to ever happen. And because of the choices people have, and they will limit those choices to make sure that they get that viewership, and then they will go on top of mountains and broadcast of how so many people viewed this occasion. And with that kind of an energy, this is what they are gonna use to broadcast this force out there to contract every single soul to whatever they're doing.
Do you know, sometimes we go on a journey, we go visit places, but we don't really know why we're doing it. Today, for me personally, I now know why. I was at one particular place. So we're going to just bring in all the broadcast systems, and our teams are going to work with them, especially the one in Arizona.
Yeah.
They have already been rewired, let's say, a while ago. And I'm just going to tune into all the surrounding support structure. Oh, this is going to be huge. And now I know why. Okay, so this also, they use specific earth energies from the records of all kinds of places in the Americas, off-world. So we're just getting all that data brought back. The observatories that they use, stations, all of that's been done in the background. Now, could we have a quick look at this contract? What's the status? How does it look to you? Are the layers present still?
As I look at this kind of an image that was being shown before, I'm now zooming in and I can see the hand of the Pope is rotting. So it looks like they have this projection outwards, but this projection is rotten and it's not gonna hold. So, but they are gonna prop it up to show the people that it's there. And then the next thing I'm getting is that there are gonna be some presidents of different kind of nations who will be the representatives of the souls within these different countries that are gonna go and pay homage during this coronation, like the Queen's burial. And from there, this is where they are gonna derive that energy and enforce their rule.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm getting is that the ancestors have risen up. They are making sure that the links that people did, whatever people are choosing within their hearts and minds, it's gonna be honored and respected. And you're not just gonna come with a piece of paper that says, I own your soul. And there's nowhere I and you made an agreement and I signed on that you own me. It's just because I'm not aware of what you own in your coffers and you have kept it as a secret for eons and eons of time. So this is what I'm being shown, but it's crumbling at the core of it.
Great. So what we have here is a dissolving of this contract. So what is Mother Earth's, soul of Mother Earth's role in this contract?
The funny thing, as you are doing all this session or these things that you are doing right now, she's very comfortably seated on a chair, holding a cigar, smoking her way out, looking at what things are doing and how her children are carrying on. It's like she's not even bothered by it because of the times that she's in. And despite what her choices are, her decisions are, she's gonna honor the choices of her children and what they choose to do. So this is dependent on her as well as it is dependent on us. It's interlinked in such kind of a way. If we allow it to happen, she's gonna allow it to happen. If we disallow it, she's gonna take action on that.
Okay. So what are the star beings saying? All cultures, all universes, what are they saying?
There's a mixed reaction of what is happening here. There's a class that is already set out that believes they own the planet and they control whatever happens here. So they are in for whatever ceremony is happening and they have put their signatures, they have stamped, they have put their authority there. This must happen, this must go on. But the others who are out there who don't like what is happening here, but these guys who are in support of what is happening here are acting as gatekeepers to keep those guys who don't want what is happening here from interfering with what is happening here.
Good. So we want to just get these groups that are interfering, because actually they're third-party interlopers. So let's have all those in, because I'm just showing all the souls here is, look, it's not just one allegiance. It's to whoever they are linked to across time and space. Right, message gone out. Who wants that? Who wants to be linked to that? Not I on my infinite journey, that's for sure.
Yeah, some of them are supporting this movement because they believed there's no way this one was gonna come back to them. But the moment, yeah,
roll. Go on.
Yeah, but the moment they have seen the karmic bill attached to their actions, they are like, no, I'm not gonna pay that. Sorry, pass.
Yeah, it's amazing, those who withdraw. Right, so let's have a look at the contract in visual terms. So how are the teams doing?
Things are very hectic at the person who is signing some of these deals and clearing some of what is being done here, because there are different categories of people who are here, who are checking, confirming, reconfirming, rechecking.
Excellent.
It's like an entire process that is being done over and over again to make sure that multidimensionally nothing is left out. Correct. Nothing is gonna creep up back in timelines, or they're gonna pull something under the rug and say that this is what you did at this time and you accepted this. And what they are saying, because I'm getting so many people in this court, is that they were waiting for this moment where there are gonna be boots on ground doing this work. And we are the people who are doing this thing. So they are gonna implement it in such kind of a way. It's not that they're interfering with our journey. It's like they are assisting what we are working to achieve, to make sure that our souls are not dragged into a contract that we never signed up for.
Exactly. So this is good. It's all movement in there. There are some very uncomfortable beings in there. Now, I just want to find this contract. Oh, while we're here, let's just have a look at Wifey Dearest by the name of Camilla. What's Camilla's role in all of this? Because in the previous release from contracts with the Queen's passing last year, we a key episode went missing, and this was an episode regarding Camilla holding a certain amount of spiritual contracts from because her esposo didn't have the energetic dynamics to actually hold on to them. So she was the one that was wielding the power. So what is the state of her involvement now, Harrison?
What I'm being shown is something that is happening across different nations. This is where they do swear in the president, and as the president is taking the oath, the wife comes over and holds the Bible on behalf of the husband who is taking the oath, and the husband places the hand on the Bible. And Camilla's role is gonna be that. That is what is gonna be projected to the people. But in behind the scene is that she's gonna be a support kind of a structure to whatever contracts that are gonna be made during that time. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just see what she's holding now.
I'm getting that some things are still up in the air, where she might hold some contracts on behalf of the so-called king. And there's a high probability that's gonna be a possibility, or there's also another probability that the king is gonna hold the entire contract, or there's gonna be another person who is gonna hold those contracts, and these two act as proxies, where they can
In
keep their hand.
change.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some dirty dealings in here internationally. Wow. Okay. So that involves, diplomatic immunity. That includes the links and connections into human trafficking and any kind of activity that is illicit and of damaging output to one's image, or for the public to become aware of certain issues regarding the harvesting of people and energy in any form. Okay, so that is coming out. And I'm just asking all the soul groups there, the ancestors, who's going to agree to allegiance to Camilla? And what's the response?
Nobody wants to be in agreement with that. And what I'm being shown is that in the astral realms, they are using force and
Coercion.
Coercion. Yeah, that's the word that I was looking for. Seeking for support so that this event can be fruitful in whatever direction they are thinking it's gonna be fruitful.
Yeah.
So I don't know which entities are gonna be agreed, who are gonna agree to be coerced to do this, because you're gonna get a bunch of them. But also I'm getting some aspects of the 15 that are here in the planet are heavily involved in what is happening.
Okay, so let's just get all that. This might be a slightly longer spiritual court of equity to those. We are in the process, just explaining if you just joined in now, that we are in the process of resolving peacefully coercion via the spiritual contracts from other entities who believe that they are above you and deserve your soul, your life experience, your input, and deserve to control that. And so we're just checking in with the numerical figure of those that want this domination and control. The 15, 16 are having to remove their inputs. And if you could describe what you see and sense from their removals of their coercive intent from this system to each soul on the planet.
What I'm getting here is this stubbornness, because they know there's a very key figure in whatever is happening on the planet. And what I'm getting is that they are gonna fight to death to make sure this is not interfered with. This is the kind of an energy I'm feeling right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thought.
So let's just invite those fighters to the fore. Those that will fight to the death. And, you know, it's normal in those races. That was a very old feature that they used for their own survival methods.
What I'm getting is that these beings are master manipulators, where they themselves are not gonna be in the top line of fighting. They are gonna recruit their guys to do that on their behalf, so that anything that comes or any blowback that comes from that, it's not gonna be traced to them. Any karma that's gonna be carried from that is not gonna be linked to them, but a bunch of these guys who are gonna volunteer for this work.
Okay, so we'll go at it from a numerical perspective. I'm just showing them the karmic bills. Those that are the fighters. Here we have a much bigger energy coming into the court.
Yeah, and I don't know, I'm also getting, we need to look at Israel. I don't know what you're getting from there, because I don't know if it's a ritual they are doing or it's a base for these beings.
Base and linked, it's a home territory. Because they actually, all of them, come from Saudi and the Levant. They're not, you know, basically the king is the 45th grandson of the Prophet Muhammad, to give you an idea. Recorded in Burke's Peerage, a book recording all the genetic links to the royal family. So they're not actually British. So we have Mesopotamia, Babylon, duality construct, where the Moses bush was brought in. Okay, so that is going to start to move. It's a bit heavy, but it will move.
Yeah, I was seeing this. They had created something on top that was like sealing to show that everything was okay, but a crack appeared and I could see a chunk of huge black water just running down this kind of a tunnel.
Great. So the inner earth counterparts. That is vile, isn't it?
Yeah. Some of these guys are so old. Some of them are claiming that they have been here for eons, and they have seen every king or queen who have ruled over Earth, and they think they can make choices and decisions for everyone.
Yeah.
Just because they are in the inner Earth. But,
Yeah, look, I'm just explaining to those inner earth councils of theirs that it's game over. You know this. You can hang on to the bitter end. I'm sure you don't mind dying in your own glory. However, nobody will see you as being in glory or the victor. Really, we've gone beyond that point in consciousness.
Yeah.
And they did not count on any form of denial of all this. So it's the biggest gaslighting, mind control, projection ever. using the technologies that they've sent the military industrial complex to try and counteract in these countries. And so the king received a massive suitcase of cash from Saudi.
I think that's why I have had this thought being dropped on my head, Switzerland, because it's connected with the banking. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just trying to get a revocation document up. It's not working. Okay, so what's the status of the spiritual court of equity in this moment with regards to the liberation of the souls and these assumed contracts signed for without permission from every being here on the planet?
I'm getting this magical kind of wind is already out there to subvert every single person free will. But there's also this form of harmony that is there, that is meant for unity, togetherness, love.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be imposed on anyone. But now this comes to each and every single person at this point in time when these oaths will be taken or be done. So it will be up to each and every single individual soul to make that choice at that point in time, whether they're gonna pledge allegiance to the king or whether they are gonna go their separate ways. And
so
yeah.
Yeah, go on. Sorry to interrupt you.
Now this is what I'm getting, and it's up in the wind. It can go either way or either kind of direction. So it's up to the individual to make that choice.
Right. So let's ask them now then. Based on all the information here present in the Spiritual Court of Equity, the historical treatment of each individual as a result of the implementation of this royal system. Who's in? Who is going to be swearing their allegiance to this law?
Can count a couple of hands raising up.
Off you go.
And the funny thing is that these people who are raising up, they are like elders in charge of certain soul groups. So if they commit to this, it's like they are committing the entire soul group to this. So I'm broadcasting this to each and every single soul to understand who is.
You sure about that?
Sure you want this person to be your elder, and this is what he's making, or this is the decision he's choosing to make.
Yeah. So I'm just going to rephrase it for all of them to become aware. Who here across all cultures, all relations, all beings has signed the unity agreements in this universe to unify under harmony, unconditional love, peace, and internal freedom, external freedom as a living, breathing soul?
I'm getting none, but also I'm being told
None.
the fine print. I'm also being told the fine print when they are being born. None agrees, but fine print is placed there to show that they have agreed.
Okay, so we're just removing that from birth, but also for all those other souls, just making sure that they see this process and know it at a soul level. Right. Now, what I get is happening here is that all the soul groups here, the soul individuals, families, are agreeing to dominion and unity on earth with earth. That no, there's very few that are actually interested in giving to this cause. And they're not giving their free will.
Yeah.
So all elders in the universe that have signed from all planets, all star systems, all those that interact and interconnect with Earth, who have races present here, to all those that have signed the unity agreements to create stability in this universe and galaxy. Please step forward. Now, this unity agreement has been cursed. So it's by those, obviously, that are not signed up into it. So I'm just getting that removed because those groups have indeed been cursed. Those star elders had been cursed. Because they were involved in the agreement. Right, the tide's turning.
Yeah.
There are some unhappy beings out there, but always with unconditional love, they will
act. Because they knew something like this it was gonna happen, but they didn't know the extent of it.
Yeah.
And now they have just realized what has just happened, and it's gonna mess their plans. So they are trying everything in their power to make sure that nothing goes
awry.
Nothing goes wrong. Because if these contracts become shady after the ceremony has been done, well, things will not be going as smoothly as they're expecting it to be, things to run smoothly.
Absolutely. So that's, we're just sort of taking a future view because this is a multidimensional spiritual court. What happens here today happens in the future, and there's no censorship that can stop that from happening. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean to say it doesn't exist. Why do I laugh? Well, it's just been many years dealing with various groups that want to control, hurt, maim, and impact individuals on Earth. And it's really tiresome and boring in this time of peace and the potentials for individuals. So overall, let's do an overall sweep and check in. How are we doing? What percentage are we complete with this resolution?
I'm seeing it's approaching, on overall, everything is approaching around 50% because there's a huge chunk of thing that needs to be cleared out.
Okay. How are the warring factions looking? Because they're really spending life force here that isn't theirs.
Well, what I'm getting is that since this energy wasn't theirs, they were like spending it like somebody who has won a lottery, and they have gone out to do some shopping, so they will do crazy amount of shopping. So they were spending this energy to try and buy out other beings, other races, other elders, so that this process can be
implemented,
can run smoothly. But they have depleted so much of this energy, and their refill isn't coming through. So it's like some of them are not in agreement of what is happening, but they don't have that enough energy to counteract it.
which is why they're heavily harvesting in South Africa.
Yeah.
There you go, Derek. Now, what is it about South Africa in particular? Is it the diamonds? Because here we are again. The gold, the minerals.
Yes, the minerals is one reason why this is being done, because it's being spread all over the planet. But also, South Africa has positioned herself in such kind of a degree where it wants to free itself from these interlopers. But instead of freeing herself, he has jumped from the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah.
And this is what they were planning all along. And from this process, they can harvest all this energy. So as I'm looking at South Africa, a huge chunk of them are not in cahoots with what is happening, but there are these guys who are gatekeepers, or people who have positioned themselves in this leadership position, speaking on behalf of the tribes, speaking on behalf of soul families that will bend a knee to this system.
Yeah, right. The sellouts. Let's have a look at the sellouts there.
Yeah. And they are good at hiding themselves. Yeah.
Deep. Right, all culture sweep here.
They're very good at hiding themselves. They speak one thing in the public, and when they get behind the closed doors, they do another thing.
Okay, so that is moving. That's wonderful news. Now, let's just have a look again and revisit the people in the UK, the soul families in the UK. Because the rest of the world will follow.
What I'm getting is that what the quote is presenting, yes, there's a huge chunk of people who don't want these things to be implemented. And in no way, shape, or form they want this kingship or this kind of an ideology to be here. And they have agreed to whatever is being signed here. They are not supporting this system. But what the government is banking on is the perception of the people. Perception is quite key. And this is why they are making sure in the narrative, nothing that would shame the royal family in any way, shape, or form is broadcasted there. Because as much as we are doing things in the spiritual kind of a world, they are so much focused on the physical world, where they are using the resources they have to make sure the narrative is to whatever they want it to be.
So let's have the policymakers, the creators. And we're just going to do a quick check-in at papal level and those beyond papal level with the level of magic and trickery in that document. We just want to nail that, really. And I'm just bringing into the energy of the court all spiritual courts of equity relevant to this scene today?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm seeing Vatican being attacked by lightnings, earthquakes, and and, and it looks so grayish, darkish kind of an environment. And there's a lot
It's
of
just been broken. That's what it is. Okay, let's have a look at the establishment very quickly.
I'm being shown this image of, I'm not gonna name this president, but we know the one who cannot finish a full sentence or make a statement that makes any sense. A leader of a first world nation. Yeah, and I'm being shown this is the kind of a situation they are in right now, where they are doing things, they think they are gonna work, but they don't know for real sure if they are gonna work.
Wow. Intellectual insecurity and gambling.
Yeah.
Okay. Big program.
Yeah. And also they're in short supply of people who can perform these kind of rituals perfectly.
Yeah.
So that's
I'm
another
just
thing.
showing them the faults and their ritual processes. Just while we're there, this is what's going to go wrong. This is how you're going to perceive it to be sorted out from your end. But it ain't going to be like that. I'm just showing them. It really can't be, you know. I mean, what do they think? What, that nobody else could figure it out?
Yeah, I think this is why they have other cultures and religions being involved in this kind of a ritual to get all the support and energy they can to complete the ceremony, because
the eternal fires of all creation just took care of all of that. That just went in the astral fires. That's great. Source of all sources engaged in this process. All creators, all prime creators, all those that want war, you can go somewhere else. Timelines are shifting back to Earth time. What they have is these little hooks spread into the future timelines. They're all going to be removed, and the field of the planet is going to be rinsed.
oh, that's wonderful. I think this is why Mother Earth is playing golf. She knows everything is taken care of and she's very happy.
She's like, children, just get on with it. I taught you enough. Okay. Right, massive movement here. Thank you to the Earth Mother here. Now there are a general assessment over the populace there that are supporting this negative agenda. What's it look like to you?
I'm getting a kind of a grayish kind of an attitude where some of them are 50-50 whether they want to support it or not. Others are hardcore. guys who, no matter what happens, they're gonna support this kind of an agenda that's going on.
Yeah.
But most importantly is that perception is quite key, yeah, for them.
So what we were doing earlier with the observatory points and the broadcast systems is that the consciousness is just being knocked out of their projection. We've just gone straight for the projector source.
Yeah.
And that's being dismantled.
Yeah, and I'm also getting this thought that since a huge chunk of leaders from the planet are gonna be in that country during the coronation, or representatives are gonna be there.
Yeah.
And recently they have tried to assassinate Putin. He might try to reciprocate what they sent to him and dump it on their heads. But I don't know, it was just a thought that dropped on my head. But anyway.
No, they'll have it sealed up. Okay, and what's the level of peace in this spiritual court of equity right at this moment?
I think things are moving quite faster now. And some of the warring factions they have come down. Some of them, it's not because they don't want to fight, it's because their energy levels are so low. And here in the court, they don't have a way of replenishing that energy and continue with their warring kind of hunting. But also there's a huge chunk of blackness and dark stuff that I'm seeing flowing like water flowing down a hill. It's like a flood when it's clearly collecting everything. This is the way I'm seeing this kind of water flowing downhill at a huge force, but it's very black with a lot of items collected, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's like a deluge of crap and junk and stuff that needs to be swept out of the collective. Okay, so soul groups on Earth, how are they looking? And soul groups in the UK. Do we have anyone that's presenting themselves for allegiance on Saturday?
No, I'm seeing some of them have they have taken a back seat, but there are with these people within these soul groups that will go, but they are not speaking on behalf of the entire soul family, whatever their positions of leadership are within those soul groups or leadership. So this will be on an individual level. If someone chooses to attend that kind of a ceremony, it's them committing their own soul, but not for each and every single person belonging to that soul group or family.
Yeah. I mean, it's the ultimate demonstration of free will.
Yeah.
So if they, free will and choices. But I pray that they make it for the correct decision. This is not quite over yet, because there will be other things that they try and roll out here after this spiritual court, I'm sure, because they'll be recalculating how they can control everything. But we just need to get that removed from the equation, so it all falls flat on its face, because it's non-substantiated and will be non-substantiated by human life. So overall, what percentage are we complete?
I'm seeing we're in the 70-ish kind of a percentage, 60, 70-ish kind of a level there.
Okay. I mean, the thing is that most souls don't actually even know
No.
about this. That's the worrying thing. You know, those that are awake and conscious of the spiritual interloping and war that is going on, you know, are few in relative terms.
Yeah.
And, you know, can you claim ignorance in unknowingness? Okay, so let's just reevaluate values and morals here. Because everybody wants to live. I'm just going to speak to all the soul groups very quickly and broadcast this. Everybody wants to live peacefully, without trouble, having your every aspect of your life controlled, etc. You know, they didn't really solve it. You know, lots of people are still dying of unknown causes very suddenly. And this was all part of the ploy.
And also, I think I'm getting this feeling they have used that as a way of overriding people's free will, because there's a way they can be able to get into somebody's consciousness.
They really made them malleable by this process. They knew exactly what they were doing. Yeah,
and from there they can get that kind of an energy they want to complete this process and tie up your soul with whatever agreement they choose to do.
Yes, so the guy that observed all the future kings and queens of all realms throughout time, how's that chap looking in this spiritual court of equity?
I'm getting different views here. The first view is where this Pope was sitting and the one who was wearing the red. It's like there's no life there. That has been dismantled.
Great. Dismantled. I like that word.
Yeah. I'm also looking at the rest of the population. They look quite happy with what the court is doing, because they are not in agreement with their souls being tied into some crazy stuff that this kind of system or whatever the system wants to implement. And I think this is why they are rushing some of the decisions, like the 15-minute city.
The 15-minute city. You couldn't make it up, could you?
Yeah, and also rushing the AI into the preview of the people.
15 of them, no doubt.
Yeah. And I wonder why they had to choose the 15-minute city, not 20. I don't know if it's in relationship with the 15 beings or whatever.
There you go. So also there is the 11. Let's have a look at the portals of the 11, of their worshipped one. Ooh. Okay. Right. There's a whole scene collapsing here, because it is the portal entries into this reality are being closed. And the reason why this spiritual court of equity is so long, I would just like to tell people, is because it is voluminous. We have tremendous volume here to clear through. That's why sometimes they can be really short, sometimes they can be a bit longer, over an hour. So, you know, we can't place fraud time limitations on what we're doing, because this is really experience. It just but it takes a bit longer sometimes when there is the sheer amount that is being cleared right now. We're having to deal with individual contracts. We're having to deal with collective forced contracts. We're dealing with the facilitation of removal of control structures, interference structures from consciousness, but not just on this planet, on other areas as well, that they utilize for projecting this false reality in line with other universal entities and structures and supports. That's why it takes time. So my apologies if this seems incredibly long. However, this is what we're working with because there is no time, just experience. And that makes it a bit tricky in the mainstream world where people have an attention span of a fruit fly. Right, there are lots of things going through right now. Next level of completion has occurred. I will revisit this before Saturday or maybe on the morning of Saturday or Friday night. Haven't yet decided. Right, how are things looking now?
Things are going, but there's this kind of a sleepy energy. I think this is what the magicians are doing to try and throw this kind of an energy to the people.
I can't do it. It's not the bloody sand, man. Right, that's being removed.
Wow.
It's disgusting. How dare they bring this into a court? But it certainly reveals who they are. They're a bit silly, really, for doing that.
Things are moving quite fast because I can see we have crossed the 8 mark barrier or the 8 mark point. Yeah.
All right, there are a lot of spells coming out of the system. It's like a counterpoint. So you get to a certain level and there will be something else that kicks in. So I just want to cognitively preempt all of that. So also in this moment, I just want to bring in the energy created from the union and communion consciousness strike. Interesting. Perceptions, please.
They didn't expect that from being brought into the court, so they're trying to do something else to counter that, but it's a gone case.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just let them know that everybody already turned. Should be God amongst gods. Okay, so what percentage of completion do we have now? Because I can just see the souls just turning their backs and walking away.
Can see you have crossed the 90-point mark.
Great.
It's progressing quite fast.
No, I can just see whole swathes of people just like, nope. Moving on to the next thing. of enjoyment and peace, I hope, for everyone. The lion has roared.
Yeah. Well, the king has left, is being left with no clothes. It reminds me of that story. Yeah.
Right, so feel the energy in the court.
Now everything looks to be settled, calm. It's like these documents are being signed off, sealed, and archived. And yeah,
And all structures that support the harvesting of free will in this universe, how are they looking?
I'm just getting this empty feeling where they think the structure is working, but in reality, it's not. No matter how much they try to
No.
prop it up, it's like
A
it's
hollow
broken.
tank. There's nothing for them to draw upon. There's no structure for them to work with. So they're flailing around, literally. And yeah, no, I just see soul group after soul group just turning their back and walking away because they know on a level what impact they have experienced at a soul level due to this coercion of domination and control on Earth today that has been present throughout the eons and the 4 previous teacher worlds. Looks like we'll be the last ones here, Harrison. Just making sure it's all sorted out and then everybody can go and have their tea.
Yes. Things are quite rushing, or they are going quite fast right now. It's not like previously where it was sluggish.
Right.
They would counteract
Oh.
everything. Yeah.
Gives you an idea, though, that the more dense the scene is, the longer it takes because it's so linked into so many things.
Yeah.
Right, it's just moving out through the grids now on Earth. Control structures, emanation points, utilization of Earth wombs. Right. Mother Earth is actually just undergoing a process of recalibrating her wombs to her wishes and outcomes. And that means loss of control there in the control points and the control rooms by others. She reigns her ship supreme, and there is no overlord that can imprint otherwise. That's what's happening from her perspective. And may that emanate out to every single female incarnated ever in the divine feminine. And that could take male form as well, which it usually does. And just feel that freedom from her. And the strength, the courage and the nurture that the mother brings. for all souls. We are her, she is us. How does that feel now?
I'm getting this sense of completion.
Mm-hmm.
Here, it's like everything is now settled.
Yeah.
People who are supporting the system are no longer supporting it. This doesn't mean that there aren't those people who won't be supported, but I'm saying the majority of the people who aren't supporting what is gonna be done, and their free will is gonna be honored, and as every soul is making its own free will choice, it's gonna be honored, and it's not gonna be dependent by a person who is gonna attend this ceremony and force everybody into this kind of a contractual agreement that nobody signed their name to it.
Exactly. Or spiritually agreed to in any timeline.
Yes.
Because even if you're on you're still going to say no. Pretty much. Because souls are sovereign and free.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's great innings today. I feel very happy at the sense of liberation across the collective. Very happy about that indeed. I will do a repeat check-in on Saturday morning. Need to check when, so I don't know exactly. And I will provide a standard invocation revocation for the UK specifically. And yeah, so thank you very much, everybody, for joining us on this very deep and profound and heavy spiritual course of equity relative to the coronation of the King, of the proposed King Charles III, and the domination and control in Britain and across the world as a result. So if you would like a session, get in contact. I'm going to be having some new offerings coming live on one website soon, because we're going to be expanding into other areas. If you're a healer, if you're not, you're also more than welcome. So leave a like. That'd be great. Helps us so much. Just even to just, for other people to see that you like the content. Maybe you don't like the content, but if you do, please leave a like, leave a comment, an emoji or something that tells YouTube that this channel does get traffic, because we're on a traffic reduced output because of what we say regarding the narrative and what gets resolved. So yeah, do that. So any final words today, Harrison?
I think it was a great session, and we have done what we can from our end. This doesn't mean that you as a person don't take your own action because we have done this session. It means that the path is laid for you. Do your work, make your choice, and we know the best thing and outcome is gonna come after that is done. So I leave you in peace.
Aye, Captain. Okay. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you again on Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Oh, I forgot to do the right thing and press